Hi, I'm Professor Hurd. Welcome. I'm glad you're here. I'm happy that you've made it to college, that we are going to be able to work with you this semester. I teach at Tarrant County College. I teach drawing, painting, design. I've taught art appreciation, art history, hands-on. I've been teaching for a very, very long time. The picture you see here is me is me now and me earlier, much younger. About 45 years ago, I was a graduate student at University of North Texas, and this is a photograph with my favorite dog back then, Magic. But I'm seeing right now that you don't get a real clear picture of the dog. But anyway, I got a master's degree in painting and drawing, and then I immediately started teaching. Well, I got a teaching fellowship at UNT, and that's where I started teaching. And I really didn't know what I was going to do with my life, and but I loved art, and I had been drawing for a very, very long time. This is a drawing I did when I was 6 years old, and there's a story behind this, and also the painting next to it is my most recent work that I've been working on a series during the pandemic. This is one of the drawings from that series. About the story, about the drawing when I was 6, I think this gives you a lot of information about where I came from and who I am. And I had been drawing since I was 3 years old, and my mother encouraged it. She supported it. It was something I loved to do. My sisters, were like asking questions that when we were adults, why didn't you asking my mother why they didn't encourage her? And she said, Cindy wanted to do it, and so she supported that. And so I worked. She would give me a pencil at church. And this is my minister. This is a drawing of my minister. And there was an amazing experience that had a huge impact on my life during this time. And at the end of the church service, my mother demanded that I give the drawing to the minister. And I didn't want to. This is mine. This belongs to me. And she said, it was sort of a scene. Yeah, it was a scene. But I handed it over to the minister, went on about my life. And when I was 18 years old, I had decided to go to college, and was preparing for college. And my minister sent me something, an envelope, and inside I opened it up, and here was my drawing. And it has probably my most prized possession because of the memory associated with that picture, with that image. So I'd like to introduce my mother. She was a human rights activist, a very important person in my life who supported growth and development and believed very much in family. And under extreme conditions, she kept us together. And she went on to become an ordained Methodist minister in her 50s, went back to school. She's a great story to talk about, especially for returning students. She was in a job that was not really rewarding, and she started working and going to school. And she was told by her father that when she was a young girl, she wanted to go to college, and she wanted to major in theology and art. And my grandfather told her that a woman's place was in the home. They sent her brother to school, and they paid for his education, and he became a CPA. Mom worked her way through secretarial school, and then had a family, and then went on and decided she really did want to go to school. So she was a student. She was an older student that went to Eastville College. Then she went to University of Texas at Dallas. Then she quit her full-time job in her 50s and went on to become a Methodist minister, spent 4 years at Perkins School of Theology at SMU. So she had a tremendous impact on my life, and she's a mentor and a friend, and we were at odds. We were competitive. We were arguing a lot. But family, she strongly believed in family, and she took care of all of us. And my life is, I'm very grateful, and I'm very lucky. So what I have too in that photograph are my children and my nieces, and Clayton, my son, the smallest one there in the photograph, received his master's degree at TCU in sculpture. He currently teaches a class at South Campus in drawing, and he also works as a installation technician at the Museum of Modern Art in Fort Worth. And my daughter, in the red and white striped dress, she has become a school teacher and teaches over in Carrollton. And her children are, let's see, sitting up on that mountain just underneath that little photograph. My grandchildren, my grandson jumping for joy. He's very much a builder and wants to become an architect. And here he is literally suspended in midair for having built this structure. And able to do it and keep it in one piece. That was the excitement. That's a real pure joy there that made me very happy. Here we are at Christmas dinner. This is my family all grown up, and here I am being silly, creating something for online teaching, before and after pandemic we are in right now. So here's myself. This is a demonstration I'm actually doing for my design students this semester, talking a little bit about watercolor. I still produce art, make lots of art, still keep making art. It's an important part of my life, an appendage. I think it's just part of who I am. It's a major part and a major influence over my life. I was not a typical student. I was told when I was trying to get into college, wanted to go to East Texas State University, that I was not college material. And I went to El Centro, and then I went to Eastfield, and went on to UNT. Spent a little bit of time in commerce, moved around, had a lot to do with money or lack of money, but I ended up at UNT. And was really happy there. It was a beautiful educational experience. It was very supportive, very nurturing, and I really flourished in those conditions. I was able to get my master's degree in 1977, and I started teaching then. I moved on to Mountain View immediately, started teaching a class at Mountain View, and then went on as an adjunct teacher, spent a lot of time teaching at different campuses all over the Metroplex, 8 years at UTD, Brookhaven College. Tarrant County College started in 1987 as an adjunct instructor. And along the way, I had children, went through a divorce, shows at the museum, shows and galleries, art centers, and have a career writing, a small, tiny career. I published in art magazines. So I teach people how to make art. I enjoy that. I still enjoy it. I've loved teaching my entire life, and to share with people the experience of making art. Most of my students, so many of my students come in saying that they can't draw, or they don't know how to make art, and we talk about that. We have a little bit of time to discuss why people are inhibited about making art, and usually it's an education in their education, somewhere embedded in their education, that somebody said to them when they painted the sky orange, the teacher said, "The sky isn't orange, it's blue." The kid actually saw a sunset the night before, and so the sky was red to him, and the sky was orange, and the teacher, his perception was altered, and his insecurity started at that point, because he trusted the teacher, and he kept thinking, wait a minute, I saw a red sky, but she's saying it's blue. So you begin to pull back, you begin to withdraw. So we talk about the creative process and what happens. And that teacher was not a bad teacher. She just simply didn't have an education in art. She didn't understand art and the developmental stages and the impact that statement had on a 6-year-old child. But here, just wanted to show off a little bit here. And this is a hands-on art appreciation class that I was teaching 2 years ago. And it was an amazing experience, and it was a spontaneous decision for me to pass out these masks. And they worked with found objects. They went home and they created and worked with the objects in their environment. And I said, put the mask in there and then see what you can come up with. And this is what they walked in with. These are students that don't have any background in art. Many of them are accounting majors and English majors and history majors, but this is but when you pull away, when you take all the fear and the anxiety, and you understand the source of why you might perhaps be afraid to make art and share it, then it cleans the slate, and this is what they came up with. So here I go again. This is a these are actually pen and ink drawings from a drawing class. And this is an entire class that comes together as an installation. I really believe it takes a village. We are all interconnected. We are all related to each other. We all have an impact on each other's lives. And this is an example of what I also teach people how to understand art. And this is a structural analysis. This is analyzing a painting, a great painting, and breaking it down compositionally into the underlying structure, a series of triangles, diagonals, energy diagonals, creating this movement and anxiety in the painting itself. So I couldn't end this video without saying something about my dogs. And these are my 2 rescue dogs. My Beagle, 100% Beagle, rescued years ago by my daughter, who this dog was running across 6 lanes on the highway, and she saw these men chasing after the dog. The dog's name is Pearl. And they were trying to help the dog, but they were scaring her into the traffic. And Sarah squatted down. She was in a CVS parking lot, saw what was going on, squatted, put her hand out, and Pearl ran to her. So I ended up inheriting the dog because there's not enough time in the day, and I had time to work with Pearl. So I realized that Pearl needed a playmate. So I bought Susie. She's also a rescue, and she's part Beagle, part Dalmatian. And I brought her home for Pearl to play with while I was at work. So I think I'll stop here. I'll stop here and we'll end with this slide just to say how much I look forward to working with you, and that art saved my life, and is very much a part of who I am. And so I know that is true for you too. So look forward to working with you. And we are in some hard times. The pandemic is having a huge impact on our lives. I will say it's the greatest opportunity to do a lot of work. And I've been working very, very hard preparing online courses, never having done that before. And it's been a challenge. I'm not a computer savvy person at all. And I'm learning how to use a computer, and I have time to do it. So let's get to work. See you soon. Bye-bye.